everyone, and welcome again. Roku Ronin is still alive. Wow. I thought it would have taken us till 2018 to begin recording again. Anyways, I'm Matt, or RC Anime. With me today is Kevin.
From Kevin, yeah, you forgot to say that.
Everyone knows that, right? Okay, fine. You're just wasting time, Kevin. You're just wasting time.
Introduce the next person.
And with us today also is Adam from Vadarf.
You could just might as well say my name alone, because I'm sure no one is here from my channel, which is non-existent.
I keep on telling you, you have 130 subscribers. It's fine. People watch your videos.
No, none of them are here. None of them are here.
It's not happening.
I'm just Adam at this point.
Yeah, Adam spelt weirdly. Adam with an H.
Oh yeah, Adam's name is spelled wrong. But anyways,
I'm sure everyone knows that as long as they're following me on Twitter.
So what have you seen recently, Adam?
Me? Oh boy. Well, what have I seen? That is actually a good question because it just left my head. I just finished MariaHolic recently.
Oh yeah. What did you think about that actually?
Only the first season.
Yeah, I've only seen the first season too.
I liked the first episode a lot. I was like, wow, this is better than I was expecting it to be. Look at like the effort that was put into like the design and the directing and whatnot. I was like, oh, this could be fun. I was like, oh, the writing's okay, but I think this has like potential. It has places to go. So I keep watching, and it doesn't. It just doesn't.
What even is MariaHolic about?
MariaHolic is about
a girl
I've heard of it.
An
alcoholic.
I don't know if it's due to something that happened in her past and it hasn't been explained. Probably not. Probably just that's how it is. But she breaks out in hives every time a guy touches her. She doesn't like guys. She's attracted to girls. She decides to go to a private all-girls school that's also slightly religious. And there she meets a girl who she takes a liking to instantly. But then she finds out that girl is actually a guy in disguise. And due to circumstances, she's not allowed to tell anyone and is stuck rooming with this person as well. And a bunch of other crazy hijinks occur.
Yeah, MariaHolic is essentially just a gag comedy show, so it doesn't really intend to go anywhere. I know in the second season it doesn't really make any development either. What it really just tries to be is it just tries to be funny. It's funny every now and then. It's okay.
I don't know.
There's not much to say about MariaHolic, essentially just because it's a show that's solely a comedy. And I'm not saying that you can't say
something you can say.
There are things you can say about comedy shows, but for what MariaHolic does, it has a formula every episode, and it follows that formula.
And the formula is so boring because it's the same exact thing every single time.
I know, but that's most comedy gag shows. Like Nozaki-kun is like that too. It's funny, but there's a formula it follows consistently.
Even though Nozaki-kun is really stupid, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, it finds a way through its characters to still make it actually fun and engaging through also the directing and writing. With each episode, even though it's the same kind of joke over and over again, it's finding sort of like but like the timing and the execution is just, it's there. It's doing something there that makes it more fresh each time you see it, even though it's the same exact thing. And because the characters are more likable, it makes it fun. Whereas in this show, very few of the characters are anything special or likable, or have anything to them more than just a stereotypical personality that is not bothered to even be fleshed out and doesn't lend itself to comedy very well either. And the directing of the show seems to be like, oh, this is some nice ideas. Clearly Ikuhara influenced, but I feel like the director just is like, nah, I don't care anymore. I give up after like the first few episodes, because what you see in like the first episode or the first few just it completely disappears by the first few after that.
I don't know. MariaHolic. I don't think MariaHolic is really anything special. I don't think it intends to be anything special. It's just what it is, and there's not much to complain about. It's just there.
I can complain that it's not funny.
Some of the jokes are okay. There's so much worse out there.
Yeah.
There's
But
so much worse. So MariaHolic it's okay. I wouldn't say it's good at all, but it's for what it is. It's fine.
It has a dog. The dog is nice.
Really?
I've never really taken a liking to anime comedies because I just find the jokes so superficial. Like, it's just a one-off joke that maybe you'll find funny once or twice, but if they keep repeating it like they do in most anime, I really just don't find the jokes funny. Like, maybe a couple of times you might find the jokes a bit funny now and then because they think of something new, but most of the time, comedy anime, they reuse the same jokes, but just in different ways, and I find the jokes really superficial. But there are some comedies that I like Shirobako. Shirobako, half a comedy, half not, but I find those jokes funny. Also, Welcome to NHK, which we can talk about later. But yeah, comedy anime in general, I don't like watching them because I don't find them funny.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned them. Like, I agree with you. I think that most comedy anime just follow a episodic formula, and it gets tiring after 3 episodes or so. But Shirobako and Welcome to the NHK, while they do have comedic moments, they're both not. I wouldn't categorize them as comedy.
No, but
Welcome to the NHK, definitely I wouldn't categorize as a comedy. There's just some moments where the viewer can definitely relate to the main character, and that just causes that there's it's like dramatic irony, which is why we find those specific moments funny in NHK. And in Shirobako is like a slice of life, lighthearted show, so it's bound to have certain moments that are comedic. It's like K-On! And Tamako Market are lighthearted slice of life shows. I wouldn't really categorize them as comedy, but they do have a lot of comedic moments.
No, from what I've seen from NHK, which is up to like more than halfway, it's like episode 16. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure all of that's a comedy. It touches on some like heavy subjects, such as, you know, that suicide island, we could say. That's a reference to the suicide forest in Japan. But no, it actually
that moment though, that moment when you're just thinking, what is happening all of a sudden?
Oh yeah.
I no, it was out of nowhere for me.
No, I actually found it funny. Like, it wasn't.
You found
it wasn't
like
insensitive.
A group of people trying to commit
No.
suicide.
I mean, we're talking about the person who finds rape and puppy beating funny.
Oh
so.
my! That I already explained. Adam, don't do that again. But no, I don't think it touches on this like the subject insensitively, but there are really some moments that are pretty funny, like when he's trying to socialize with the group of people there, and then everyone just rejects him, even though he's a hikikomori who doesn't really socialize himself, and he tries his hardest too. I think that was really funny. Before, when he doesn't want to admit he's a hikikomori to I already forgot the main girl's name. Who was her name again? Misaki.
It starts with an M.
Misaki, something like that. But yeah, he doesn't want to admit. But then he propels himself straight back into a hikikomori life by like playing the Ergo games that he's trying to prove that he's not one. So I think that that's a pretty fun dynamic. But no, I think so far NHK it's a pretty big comedy so far. I don't think it has any big serious moments.
I don't really recall it being a comedy. I felt like it was more of a kind of odd psychological show. I mean,
if that's true, I haven't seen any psychological parts.
I'm pretty sure it's listed as being psychological in genre somewhere.
Maybe a tad bit.
It probably is. The reason why I mainly don't like NHK personally was because I just felt like it mix matched too many genres at the same time. It just didn't flow for me. I mean, you can there are tons of times then there are plenty of examples where genres are mixed and mashed together and they really work, but for NHK it just, I don't know, it felt awkward. Like in the Suicide Island moment, that entire episode just felt odd. Because at times you're laughing, but at other times these people are gonna kill themselves, and it's just, I don't know. It didn't. It could have been satire, but it didn't feel like satire.
I can't say since I haven't seen it, but I have seen one thing that treated suicide with like a funny slant and did really
Paranoia
well.
Agent?
Exactly, that one episode of Paranoia Agent.
Yeah, you see, Paranoia Agent treats it very facetiously. I feel like NHK wants it to be serious, yet also amusing in a
Quirky way.
comedic sense. And yeah, in a quirky way. It was really
the
odd.
suicide moments, like where they're on the cliff, they weren't meant to be funny, and they weren't. It was actually serious. But like before that, when they're just on the beach, those were the funny parts. Even though they were talking
Yeah, I
about
know,
suicide.
but it felt really out of place when it suddenly just became really serious. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Nah, Kevin just finds it funny when people commit suicide.
Adam, no.
Sakes, Adam. Adam, you were... Why did we allow you on here?
Because we can't get anyone else. It's so hard to get 3 people out of the 6 or 7 we have.
I don't understand. Roku Ronin's just us 3 at this point. Anyways, but yeah, you've only seen the first half of NHK,
Yeah,
right?
first half and a bit.
Yeah, the second, the ending, I don't really care for it too much. But I know a lot of people like NHK, and it's just one of those things that isn't ever really going to work for me, I don't think. But you recently finished Ergo Proxy.
Yeah,
didn't you?
recently, like 3 weeks ago. I mean, we
3 weeks?
talked about...
Has it been that
yeah,
long?
something like that. Something crazy. But, no, we talked about the first half when I was in the middle of watching it. And we can sort of talk about the ending, but Adam hasn't seen it, so
I'm
to be
just gonna
vague.
sit out for this.
Okay, so what did you think of the ending? The last episode?
I quite enjoyed it. I like the ending. Can I even say like what the ending tries to be without spoiling it to Adam?
Okay, I'm gonna say
It's
that
so-
it's kind of like what the Evangelion ending should have been.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
say that.
I was gonna say if it was like it should have been like an Evangelion ending. I was like, no, Matt.
No.
Ergo Proxy's ending. I'm just gonna say it. It's ambiguous, but it's not impossible to understand what's happening, or what the characters are going to
it's
happen.
not at all.
Yeah.
It's very poetic, I think, actually. I think that the ending to Ergo Proxy is the perfect balance of being philosophical and also being cohesive. I mean, I think anyone can understand what's going on at the end of Ergo Proxy for the first time. I don't think people have to go back and analyze it and study what this means, study what that means. And I think that's a good balance because when some shows, Kevin, when some shows end and you don't know what the fuck is happening,
when something
and
just
you stop caring. When someone ends up in a big blue ball with people clapping
no.
their hands around
No.
him.
Or the Berserk ending.
Or the Berserk,
The Berserk ending.
The Berserk ending's not even philosophical or anything. It's just
It's
what
yeah.
the
It's
fuck?
just it literally is just what the fuck happened. How? But no, yeah. Ergo Proxy thematically is really thematically consistent. I think it's a great show throughout. There are 2 episodes. Yeah, you mentioned there were 2 episodes that were like not serious, but like still managed to be.
It's really surreal.
Yeah, it was the game
the 2
the
episodes,
game show episode.
The Jeopardy
the
episode
Jeopardy.
and the Looney Tunes episode.
Yeah, but the Looney Tunes episode actually made sense because it wasn't.
No, like both. I think both make a lot of sense. Both give you information in a really subtle way, especially the Jeopardy episode.
That was a
where you
clever
learn
way
a lot about the characters.
Clever way of exposition. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Also, don't you find it funny, or not really funny, but sort of clever that the robot has most of the personality throughout the show, even though she's just a robot. Or Pino, that's her name. Yeah, Pino has more of her personality than the main guy and Rail.
Yeah. All the robots have a disposition and like emotions behind their actions. Even Lil's personal robot butler guy.
Yeah, I already forgot his name.
But Ergo Proxy is really good in it's really good in almost everything it does. I can't really say it's a show with any mishaps or whatnot. I think Ergo Proxy does everything pretty much what you can ask for it.
Yep, I agree.
So, Adam, since you've been quiet, I know you've seen another show recently.
It's a terrific comedy. It's called Serial Experiments Lain. I've never laughed more in my life.
Adam,
This should be fun. Matt, you want to argue?
no, he doesn't dislike it. He
Wait, what? Pretty sure Lain isn't a comedy, and I haven't seen it.
I don't know
Then
it's
why?
not a comedy. What are you
Now that
talking?
just depends on how you analyze it.
I was watching Serial Experiments Lain with Adam, and Adam couldn't understand anything in it. So basically, the entire time I was just explaining my theories of what was happening in the show.
I'm not good with stuff like that.
And Serial Experiments Lain isn't even that. It's definitely ambiguous, and there's definitely a lot of layers to talk about. But I
Each
don't think
episode
it's.
starts with a layer.
I don't think Serial Experiments Lain is one of the more hard.
Nah,
It's definitely.
Nah, for me, hardest one I've ever watched. I didn't know. I didn't understand anything going on.
Wait, Adam, have you
You should
seen?
watch the end of Evangelion.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, has Adam seen End of Ava? I was gonna say, which one's more
I
confusing?
haven't even continued Ava itself. I stopped on like episode 6.
Ava's not even.
Ava's a good
Yeah.
show though, except for the last the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was boring me at the beginning, so I stopped.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Ava.
Not here.
Well, too late.
No, never. We never talk about
Yeah,
Ava.
actually.
Not never. It seems.
No, we can't. We can't talk
Yeah,
about.
I have a rule where I just don't talk about Ava. I just say it's a good show and just don't talk
Me
about
too,
it.
Yeah.
But no, so Serial Experiments Lain, like, is it as confusing as the end of Ava, Matt?
No, definitely not. There's a lot of. The show tells you what's going on most of the time. You just have to pay attention to how it tells you. Sometimes.
Why,
it's
is it really
through,
cryptic?
I wouldn't say it's cryptic. I would just say that you have to understand how you have in the beginning of the show. You have to understand the rules it sets up for the first 2 or 3 episodes, and you have to see how it plays with that. One of them is framing, the framing of the characters. How Lain is framed specifically to other characters in the beginning of the show, changes in a really consistent way as the show progresses. Usually, in the beginning of the show, Lain is surrounded by multiple people, and as the show goes on, she's surrounded by less and less people. Each time, like, up until the last few episodes, where she just talks to only one person per each scene. And other things like the sound mixing. The sound mixing is essential in Serial Experiments Lain in how to understand what is going on with the world, because Lain is kind of like a more, how should I say, quiet, ambient version of The Matrix, in which it talks about the blending of reality and the wired. And in order to kind of get a sense of whether if the show is taking place in reality or in the wired, you can kind of tell from how the sound is mixed each time in each scene. And also, there's some other bits like how the dialogue is written and whatnot. So I do think Lain is. I do think people can understand Lain as long as they recognize the roles that the first few episodes build.
Or watch it with Matt and have him explain it all.
I can't explain it all. There are things in Lain that even I can't explain, and that I don't know. Adam, you actually, when we were watching it, you mentioned something that I never really realized. So it really depends on the person. Lain is definitely not going to be a show where you will understand everything, but as long as you understand the basic idea, I think it's a show that one can really appreciate, because it does something different. And I always think that if something does something different in a, I don't know, in a passionate way, it's hard to not respect that.
So wait, is
I
Lain
agree.
set in like the distant future or just like another reality?
It's our reality in a way.
Really,
it's
it's
just our
set during the
reality.
time that it was made, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
really?
just
What?
like altered and not exactly the same as ours. If you think too much about our rules, then you may get confused, actually.
Yeah, you have to. The world of Zero Experiments Lane is its own world. I mean, that's every show. So, don't. I mean, if you want to compare it to our world, just don't go into Zero Experiments Lane thinking about the technology in our world. Just think about the technology in its world.
Nor how,
Or
like,
accept the technology in its world.
science as we know it sort of works.
It doesn't really go into science.
I'm just saying, don't get too hung up about, like, oh, I don't understand. How does this work in terms of reality?
Kevin, have you ever seen 2001: The Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
Just go in. It's like that.
Okay.
Not in how crazy it is, but just in how you just accept things for how they
It
are.
also has
in
the same ending.
the show. Don't worry. There's
The
no
what?
space
There's a giant
woman
space baby?
in Lane. No, there is. There's no. There's no space wind and there's no space
Nah, it's
baby.
internet baby.
What? Should be interesting when I watch it.
Yeah, we can go more into the show when you watch it, but yeah, Lane is also one of my favorite shows.
It's not one of my favorites, but it is, as Matt said, also one of the ones I highly respect.
But wait, Adam, why'd you find it funny then?
At least it has the courage to do something different.
Adam doesn't find it
Why do you
funny.
say that? Oh my
He's just
God.
trying to be funny.
God damn it.
This is what's funny.
We can talk about Kevin. What's that other show you finished recently?
Oh, the Tatami Galaxy? Yeah.
Yeah, the Tatami Galaxy.
Ah, what
That
a great
actually
show.
does have comedy in it.
It is.
That does, yeah. It's one of the few shows that I think treat comedy in an interesting way. Most shows, when they have comedy, usually it's a series of actions and then the punchline. That's most comedy anime. The Tatami Galaxy is more so of using relatability and using kind of absurdity for its comedy. I mean, a lot of gag comedy uses absurdity.
Also, it
but
references like
there's
past
no
episodes
punchline.
to itself.
Yeah.
If people haven't seen Tatami Galaxy, it's almost like Groundhog Day, except the main character, who is nameless, we just call him Watashi, joins an extracurricular activity for university for the next 2 years, and basically each episode or a couple episodes revolve around him joining a different club and seeing what ending happens after the 2 years. And you never expect, well, you expect the ending to each episode to be conclusive or concrete, but it always ends in weird ways that you never expect.
It also plays around really nicely with repetition, whereas some shows might think, oh, we're going to play with repetition and redoing something, and it'll have like a cool meaning to it or mean something. There's a good way to do that, a bad way. A good way is Tatami Galaxy. It does something new, even though it has the repetition, and it uses it in a very interesting way that then plays into the main theme and idea of the ending. Whereas a show like, say,
Endless Eight.
Melancholy
Endless Eight.
Haruhi Suzumi.
Endless Eight, there you go.
Suzumiya, yeah, the Endless Eight. That does not do repetition correctly.
It's literally just repetition.
Endless
The
Eight.
Endless Eight. Amazing, right, man? Love that show.
Fuck that. Please, let's.
But no, the
move on.
Tatami Galaxy, like, for the first half of the show, I didn't enjoy it as much until it came to the arc where he was dating the three girls. The sophisticated doll, his drunken sort of senpai friend and the letter writer. I'm not going to spoil who that is, but I just found that really interesting because, I mean, we've all thought about relationships at some point, and I find it interesting that we get to see what happens if which girl he ends up with at the end. But as I said before, the ending to everything isn't always how you expect it to be.
Usually it's not what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
And a show that can remain unexpected despite repeating is a very well-written show.
Yeah, the Tatami Galaxy, in a way, also has its own episodic formula, but each time there's always a new equation in it. So, and I think it builds up really nicely to the conclusion of the series, because it kind of like has all the worlds, in a way, add up together for the main character to essentially grow up and have a cathartic journey.
Cathartic.
Oh man, English, man. Sometimes
I know.
the people who watch my videos know.
Our lisp anime.
Oh god. Monogatari, no, it's Monogatari. Araragi, no, it's Araragi, no, it's Agagagi. Fucking.
Misaka Mikasa.
Oh god.
Okay, no, that was really my fault. I still get them mixed up. I can't. Like Misaka and Mikasa, I don't know. I can't.
I don't know why you get that wrong.
differentiate
That's like
between the
it's
two.
literally so easy. But no, back to
No, it's not.
back to Tatami Galaxy.
I'm actually only confused in that name because of Matt.
No, it's not. Back to Tatami Galaxy. Yuasa's stylistic and stylized animation, how it like almost changes in every scene. Like I feel like that reflects the core theme of the show, which is life is volatile and that you shouldn't waste time or thinking about what could have been and just do whatever your heart tells you. And I think that it's reflected in its art style, because there are some scenes where it's just full of color, or the color orange, really bright orange, green, where all have this mixed emotions, where the second or third last episode, it's an arc about him being a hikikomori, and it's literally just black and white. I feel like the art style really pushes home its core theme.
Yeah, the art style is always something interesting that Yuasa does. I'd say most interesting in Kaiba, actually. The art style in Kaiba is really cartoony. It reflects, to me at least, it reflects Adventure Time a bit. And he
Yep.
actually directed an episode of Adventure
Yep.
Time. Still have to watch that. His art style in Kaiba, I think, fits really well in how the world is just so different than our world. It has a lot of similarities with like motives and in a sense how their world is structured, from lower class, middle class, upper class. There's a lot of reflections of our society in the society of Kaiba, but it's also something that would probably be impossible to reflect in a more realistic aesthetic, I guess. So it gives it a really cartoony look while also being really serious. And I thought Kaiba had a really interesting duality within that kind of art style. And Ping Pong, the animation, just while the animation itself is kind of terrible, the art style is really nice in Ping Pong. And I can't really say too much about how the art style reflects in Ping Pong. I just think it works really nicely with the themes and the shots that Yuasa picks. But thematically, I don't know. Adam, you like ping pong a lot more than I do, so
I'm not very good at figuring that's how it works with the show. For some reason, I just feel like it really works very well. And of all his shows that I've seen, Ping Pong is my favorite of his. Is this quality to it that's like, it makes it like seem more real than the normal style of anime out there, even though it's also kind of like not really real at the same time. And there's this quality of like ugliness to it because it's not very nice to look at, really. But then again, I feel like that's a good way of representing what it tries to say, maybe in terms of like how life itself is not something is often not something beautiful to look at, actually. Even though there's a lot of beauty around in it, there's also a lot of ugliness, but you can find beauty even in the ugliness. And if you can get past that part, you can find something more there for you, I guess. This is my very rudimentary attempt at analyzing the style and how it applies to the anime in the moment.
No, you can just say Yuasa is a god then.
Yes. Sure.
Yep.
I swore I've heard someone say that before.
Someone's probably said that before.
Yeah, I'm not. There's been so many times where people just asked me to make a video on Yuasa. Probably never happening, to be honest. But
No.
I like Yuasa's shows. I don't know. There's not much I would really say about Yuasa as a whole. I can say a bunch of stuff about each of his individual shows, or the ones I've seen at least. But I don't think I would ever. I might make a show on a show. I might make a video on Kaiba in the future, or the Tatami Galaxy, but I don't think I'd ever would make a video on Yuasa as a whole. At least not right now, or anytime soon.
You know what? One thing with Tatami Galaxy
Mm-hmm.
is I don't think it's a very complex show thematically. Like it straight up tells you what it's about near the end, and I don't think it's like really that confusing. Like the story itself like isn't anything original, but it's how Yuasa presents it. It's why it's interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. The dialogue though.
Oh, the dialogue. Oh my god. But yeah, that was literally only like the first 2 episodes where he just talks super fast, and then the rest is.
Yeah, I told you.
I thought the rest was gonna be like that. I was like, okay, need some caffeine to watch this, but no, it was only the first 2 episodes where he was talking in his head. But those were like literally the fastest. The fastest I've heard.
No, I
anyone
don't
talk.
think there's anything faster out there.
Yeah,
in
like if you
anime.
literally wait 1 second to read the subs, you'll miss something.
I guess you can say that's a way of how it shows that life moves fast. And
Or a way
I was
that
gonna say
like
something
you
else
act,
and I forgot.
or people actually think that fast in their heads, like in your own heads.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You never really measure how fast you think. I mean, usually when you have a thought, it just goes right through you. It's not like how the films have it, in which they're just talking to themselves in their head. That's not what.
And no one talks.
That's not how people
no one
think,
actually
really.
talks that slowly because you know what you're thinking. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Has anyone ever seen that movie with Mel Gibson, What Women Want?
Oh yeah.
yes, I have.
Oh, all of us have seen it. Wow.
What? I can't believe all of us have actually seen that. What are the chances? But in the movie, in What a Woman Wants, in the entire film, Mel Gibson's just hearing a woman's thoughts.
Yep.
And in the film, it's really funny because they're just talking. It's just like, oh, a woman's like, I wonder when I should get coffee or whatnot. And people, in a way, if that were really happening, the dots you would be hearing, you wouldn't really be hearing dots. You'd be more thinking the same dots, I guess.
Well, that depends. I sometimes will think to myself like that as normal speech. I often do that.
It depends how you think. Like when you're thinking, do you talk to yourself? Because I sometimes talk to myself in my
do
head,
that
which it's really weird.
a lot. I'm a very lonely person. I talk to myself a lot.
Even in public.
That's
It's true though.
Is it?
I mean, not usually out loud, just in my head, but sometimes.
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Everyone sometimes always has to reassure themselves when they're like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot to do this and something like that.
No, I'm just be like, oh, this is nice weather today, yeah. Oh no, I don't think we should cross right now. We should probably wait till later. But I have to go over there.
You say that out loud.
say it.
No,
Yeah,
usually
say
it's
it
in
out
my
loud.
head. Usually to my head, and it's not like fast speed thought, not like just thoughts. I actually usually just talk to myself out of my head because I'm bored and I'm good company, I guess.
Now everyone listening knows that Adam is crazy.
Yep. So you listen
If they
to
didn't know
voices
that
in your
by
head.
seeing my videos, they should know that by now.
So basically, Adam, you just listen to the voices in your head.
I mean, the voices in my head are my own voices, so yeah,
yep.
sure. Why
Keep
not?
telling yourself that.
Oh yeah, see, that's what I thought of, and then I forgot as soon as I was saying it. They can also reflect how the life keeps moving fast, and he keeps trying to be like too quick with everything and too fast to get what he wants, but then he has to. Then he thinks back, oh, what if I made other choices? But then he keeps making the same mistake until he finally realizes that you just have to take life as it is and not be so fast and whatnot. I'm trying not to spoil the ending, but if you think about the ending, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And it's funny because the solution to all of this was really right in front of him every single episode.
Yeah.
With the dome, it's just always looking at it like, dude, please.
It even outright told you,
there.
just like, what was it? What was the quote? I forget the exact quote, but it's like,
I don't remember. Yeah.
grab
The
what's right in front.
opportunity is in front of you or
Yeah.
something.
Grab
yeah.
it.
The opportunity is dangling right in front of you. You just have to grab it.
Yeah, he keeps not listening, so he has to keep paying more.
Yeah, Tatami Galaxy is a great show. That's probably my favorite Yuasa show. I should rewatch that someday. I've only seen it once.
I mean, it's definitely a rewatchable show, man, because of the dialogue. I definitely missed some. Well, not missed. I wasn't paying attention to the shots as much because of the dialogue.
A lot of people say that about Monogatari too, but I don't really think the dialogue in Monogatari is too hard to follow. There's just a lot of it.
That they don't talk fast. There's just a lot of dialogue.
A second time
Yeah,
through
and-
Monogatari can help because you already know what they're gonna say, sort of. So that way you can like absorb it better. Maybe focus more on some of the other meanings of it. I found that
Yeah.
I did miss some things the first time through that I got the second.
Owarimonogatari was a disappointment though, for me at least.
No, I'm rewatching it now. Ogi formula is still great.
The first half of Owarimonogatari is good. I don't really like.
I don't really like
Shinobu's
Sudachi,
art.
Riddle, and Loss. I haven't rewatched Shinobu Mail yet.
I also felt like the visual directing in Owarimonogatari was the weakest one.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Apart from Ogi formula, although maybe
Yeah.
including Ogi formula, because technically, even though it looked nice, it was all just in the same classroom. So that kind of was like not as nice as some of the previous arcs where there were like a lot of environments. But I don't know.
The face one, you haven't seen any Monogatari.
Well, fuck you.
That's fine.
Kevin, I'll watch it with you.
So much though. There's so.
Nah, Kevin's never gonna
No,
watch
come
it.
on, Kevin. It's amazing. Do it.
Kevin already said it himself. He's never gonna watch
I never said that,
Monogatari
Matt.
because he's a.
I never.
You
No, I
have.
never said that. No, don't lie.
You have.
Don't lie.
What do you? No.
It's fine.
No, you don't.
No, I
don't.
never said
no,
that.
You're the one
I
who's
never
lying.
said that. I never said I wasn't going to watch it.
Ah.
But no, Matt, have you seen any other show, or are we going to talk about live action now?
The hateful.
Yeah. Yep.
Hateful Eight.
Okay, we can talk about the Hateful Eight now.
No, that's the best anime. of last
Bye bye,
year.
weebs. You probably don't even know what the Hateful Eight is.
let's actually talk about normal people stuff. The Hateful Eight isn't okay, wait, Kevin, go first.
Yeah, I think it's one of Quentin Tarantino's best films. Though I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs. I've seen Pulp Fiction. I've seen Kill Bill. I haven't seen Django Unchained, and recently saw Inglorious Basterds because Matt told me so. And Well, Hateful Eight is one of my favorite. Oh, is my favorite out of his films so far that I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good choice.
You like it more than Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, it's because I only seen Pulp Fiction once, and like really
Yeah.
long ago. It's like so long that I don't remember how old I was when I watched it. That's how long ago I watched it.
I mean, I always think that Pulp Fiction is a masterpiece. I think Pulp Fiction is like one of the greatest films I've seen. The Hateful Eight is really good.
I'll have to watch Pulp Fiction again just to
Should I say
remember.
my opinion of Pulp Fiction.
Adam, I don't want to hear your opinion of Pulp Fiction again. Honestly, it would just save people so much if you don't talk.
I don't like it.
And your reason for not liking it is stupid.
What? It's boring and it's not that inventive.
It's so stupid. You just make me want to fucking.
It's a legitimate thing. If something is boring and it's not that inventive and the writing really isn't that like
You're
interesting.
completely misunderstanding the point of Pulp Fiction.
What's
do you,
the
how,
point
in
of
what
the
way is it not
movie?
inventive? What are you talking
What's the
about?
point
Not
of the
being
movie?
inventive. How is that even a criticism?
Because people keep telling me, "Oh, it was revolutionary. It was great. It's this and that." Meh.
Who told you
Every
first of all,
person
who
who
told
talked to
you
me
that it was
about
revolutionary?
Pulp Fiction.
And also, this is also you Citizen Kane is revolutionary. And when you went to watch Citizen Kane, you're like, I've
did
seen it
not
already. Yeah, that's
enjoy
because
it
Citizen Kane did it
that much,
first.
but I appreciate it a lot more than Pulp Fiction. I actually think Citizen Kane is a great movie, whereas Pulp Fiction, I think, is okay.
let's so the Hateful
Plus,
Eight.
I don't like John Travolta.
But you look like John Travolta.
No!
He does.
No.
I'm going to like I'll if I can remember, I'll put a comparison photo on the screen.
No.
But yeah, The Hateful Eight I think is Tarantino's best film since Pulp Fiction because Inglorious Basterds, while it was good, it wasn't of that tier. And
That was just a fun
Django
watch.
Unchained just felt like it was missing something.
Yeah, I haven't seen Django Unchained. Is that?
It's a good movie, but considering what Tarantino has done other than that, it just something felt it didn't have that extra spark, or it didn't really have much of a spark. It was, you see, the premise sounds amazing. A black slave killing a bunch of white people. But it didn't feel amazing.
I don't know, to me it did.
Yeah, you like Tarantino's weakest film
That's
the
not
most,
true.
and you're just
I never said that Django was my favorite.
which one is your favorite?
It's either
then?
Inglorious or The Hateful Eight, probably.
You said you didn't like The Hateful Eight.
I didn't like it as much the first time, but then I rewatched it recently.
Wait, when?
I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
All right.
A screener copy. You know, one of those DVDs you get in
Oh,
the mail.
okay.
What was I gonna say? And I was able to reflect on it more, and even if I didn't enjoy it that much, I still did agree that it was technically and filmically, and if that's a word, and whatnot, a great movie, like really great. The writing was like super tight and just great. I'd say the visuals, just because it was mostly static stuff, like in the same environment, weren't as like wow as some of his other stuff, like Django or Inglorious or whatnot. But still, just the writing alone was amazing, and I did like it a lot more. I think I like Inglorious a little more though, but then again, I haven't seen it in I think like a year or two. Same with Django, so I have to rewatch them. But Inglorious, Django, and The Hateful Eight are the only ones by him I actually like that I've seen, and the other ones I've seen were only Pulp Fiction and both Kill Bills.
I haven't seen Kill Bill.
Kill Bill's
That and
overt.
Jackie Brown.
Kill Bill's like
Those are-
really overtly gory and over the top. Like it gets tiresome at a point. Like they're
It's
just
not
so
even that gory, like by today's standards. Like
No,
The
it's
Hateful
not.
Eight is actually gorier.
yeah. But
Is The
but
Hateful Eight
Yeah,
gorier?
it's way
Yeah.
gorier.
yeah, but in Kill Bill, like there's just so much killing. It gets really tiresome just watching, just the girl
It's
killing
not
everybody.
Even that it's like so much
I
killing
don't
that
even
it
think
gets
The Hateful
tiring.
Eight is gory.
It's just like a normal action movie, essentially.
Not really. No, it's not a normal action movie.
No, it's definitely not a normal action movie. I haven't even seen it.
Essentially, if
know.
you're talking about it in that kind of way,
A normal
about,
action movie is
so
Guardians
many
of the
people are
Galaxy.
being killed.
Mission Impossible is a normal action movie.
Okay, I'm talking about more like action movies of, I guess, like the 90s or 80s, like with like, Schwarzenegger or Stallone, just like killing people by the dozens, that kind of stuff.
No, Total Recall is the only one where that
No,
happens.
you haven't seen Commando.
I've seen Commando.
kills
I
so
wish I
many people.
hadn't. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what he
But
does.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
He's
it's
like-
that
Get to the
It's
chopper.
not that special. Killing so many. That's not that special. It's been done before. It's not like. But the style is like obviously his own, so that's special. But it's just like not that interesting or great a
Adam.
movie.
Adam, everything. Well, I'm not even trying to defend Kill Bill, but like your argument's like it's been done before. That's not a criticism.
It can be if it doesn't do anything new or interesting or execution-wise, something there with it.
No, that's bullshit.
No, it isn't.
Because everything has already been done.
But if you take something that's been done and do it in a different way or something new or just do it well, really well, then that's okay. But if you don't, then it's not okay. If you're literally just copying things that came before without doing anything of your own, then it's not okay. He did do something of it, and he put his own style in it, so that makes it a little better because of that.
I love how just everyone's going to listen to
Yeah.
Adam and think he's wrong.
We weren't.
I don't
wait, we weren't
understand
even-
you. You can't. It makes no sense what you're saying. You can't just.
I haven't.
You can't
I haven't
excuse
seen Kill
something
Bill.
Adam,
just
I was.
because
Your
No.
argument of how
The-
things need to
You
whatever.
can't just copy something and be like, oh, everything's been done before. It's okay. That makes no sense.
No, but you're that's not essentially your argument. Your argument is more like I just feel like every time I watch a movie of you, you just always say
That's not true.
I've seen it done
Not
before.
always. Not always.
when name one time where that hasn't happened.
The Hateful Eight.
Yeah. It wasn't. I don't know what Adam was even arguing
so
about
stupid.
because
I
I
don't
didn't.
know what he
I
was
didn't even
arguing
say the killing was
It's
good. I
Matt.
said
It's
the
Matt.
killing
It's
was
all Matt.
tiresome in Kill Bill, and
All
somehow
I said was that but I don't see why it's so tiresome, especially in Kill Bill when I've seen it in other things that it's done. I don't know.
yeah, it. The Hateful Eight is an R-rated version of Cluedo.
What?
Have you played the board game Cluedo? Do you not know what that
you mean
is?
Clue?
Yeah, what? It's called Cluedo. What?
Clue.
No.
Oh, those are
maybe it's
Cultural
yeah.
country differences, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's called Cluedo. But
Cluedo. I actually like
maybe
that
called
better
Clue.
than Clue.
it's called maybe called Clue in the US. It's called Cluedo, same thing. But yeah, it's an R-rated version of that where basically 8 strangers, not really strangers, some people know each other, are trapped in a cabin and one person or a couple might be the killer and you have to basically find out who it is by the hints the film gives you. And I think the Hateful Eight is actually really funny. Like there are some really fun, great comedic scenes. The one with the sheriff where he's just accusing one guy just because he's ugly. And what happens there is just really funny.
Oh, do you remember that one part? This isn't really a spoiler. That one part where the prisoner Daisy Damagyu, where she's playing the guitar,
Yeah.
and Kurt Russell goes and breaks it.
Oh yeah.
A funny story behind that guitar that I learned about. So when they were filming, they borrowed the guitar from this museum because apparently it's a really old artifact. And they were supposed to double up the guitar with a different one when Kurt Russell went to go break it. But he didn't know about the guitar being a old artifact. So he just went in that one take and broke it. And the actress, Jennifer Jason Leigh, she knew about the guitar. So when she saw him break it, that's why she reacted in such a way. She was so out of character in that moment.
That was her.
That was a genuine reaction. And when you look back at her face, it's you can easily tell that she was not expecting for that to happen.
Wait, so Kurt Russell didn't know?
No, Kurt Russell didn't know. He found out later.
What did they do about that?
The museum took back the broken pieces, and they were gonna use that story for its display.
You just went ahead and broke an ancient artifact. It's like painting over the Mona
amazing.
Lisa. It's like you get the Mona Lisa, like you're about to basically copy it on another frame, but instead you just draw over the original. Oh man.
Great moments like those in filmmaking, you will never get in anime
I
because
feel like Tarantino has quite a bit of those.
yeah, the thing was that on set, everyone kind of panicked except for apparently Tarantino, who was smiling.
Maybe he knew. Maybe he knew Kurt
Maybe
Russell
he
would
did
break
it on
it.
purpose.
Maybe he told
Yeah.
Kurt Russell to do it.
Yeah, just break this guitar in the first take. Like, okay.
No, but yeah, The Hateful Eight's a really great film that came out last year.
Channing Tatum though.
Channing Tatum. Yeah, I think The Hateful Eight is a really good. I talked about mixed matching genres earlier before, and I think The Hateful Eight is a good film. that
Murder
does that.
mystery comedy. Yeah,
Yeah,
murder
it's-
mystery comedy.
It's like it puts together a murder mystery. There's comedic elements, and it also puts it together with the Western genre. And I
Yeah.
think all of his films do that. Django Unchained put the slavery time period
You can
along
also
with
say
Western.
Western as well. Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Inglorious Basterds is kind of like historical, along with satire, and also kind of Westernish, in a way. Pulp Fiction is Pulp Fiction.
I really
Best
like
anime director around.
Samuel L. Jackson's character.
I know. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so this was supposed to be an anime podcast, but we are out of time. I
Maybe
think.
next time we should prepare with anime we've all seen more.
We
so.
did. We talked about anime for a long time.
Yeah.
We just wanted to talk about The Hateful
I know.
Eight because it was a good film.
Yep.
Even though we didn't really get to talk about it a lot, we argued more about freaking
No.
Tarantino.
It wasn't
That's not-
arguing about Tarantino. It was arguing about other stuff.
Yeah.
Could have
well,
talked about Inglorious Basterds as well.
Great movie.
We can talk about that next time, where they about the part where they
Kill his
shoot Hitler's
face.
off. But
And in the face the guy's making while doing it. It's just like, you must die. I'm not done yet. Put the just put the face there, Matt. Put the face there when you're editing. It's so funny.
maybe if I can get it. All right, so I think we're good for now. Sorry we didn't talk about anime for the last 10
I'm not
minutes,
sorry.
but
Fuck you
we-
guys.
Yeah, we generally do more things
It's
than
fine.
just watch
Anime is
anime.
shit. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
We generally do more things than just watch anime.
We have
like,
lives. Somewhat.
both of you are just making fun of everyone listening to this.
I don't care. I only have 130 subs.
What is... Kevin can do it because Kevin's a cunt, but Adam... You're white.
That's why I
He's
can get away with it.
Jewish.
And I'm Jewish.
Hail Hitler. Hail.
No, I'm not. Fuck you. Okay, so today it's been me, RC Anime, or Matt. With me today was Kevin from Kevin Nia.
Yep. See you guys later, which is in like 2018.
Probably 2020. And Adam from Vadarf.
Nagisa the Seaman Demon.
No, fuck you!